your love light come into me. Show me what I need to see.
Welcome to the Small Victories Podcast. I'm your host, Pauline Victoria, an inspirational thought leader that offers transformational perspectives based on my unique experiences as a woman born without arms and legs. I feel like my life has been full of small victories that has led me to discover the greatness within. I believe that there is no summit upon which we reach our greatness. I believe it is a culmination of small victories achieved moment by moment when we turn toward the inward battle where we get to choose despair or hope, misery or miracles, defeat or victory. My goal is to awaken your potential, your purpose, and your power so that you can discover the greatness that lives within you. Think of this podcast as your weekly portion of tools, stories, and teachings that help you reflect on the small victories in your life. Thanks for tuning in, and let's begin. Welcome to the Small Victories Podcast. I'm your host, Pauline Victoria. Today, we're unpacking an extraordinary sensory journey, not into what can't be heard, but into what must be. Teenager Ella Coonen has been told she will eventually lose all her hearing, but instead of retreating from the world, she's created a bucket list of sounds she wants to experience while she still can. From church bells to laughter, from orchestra to ocean waves, her story, captured in the documentary The Sound of a Bucket List, reminds us that the richest of life is often in what we take for granted. And with her mentor and producer, David Kaye, Ella is sharing a powerful message to listen deeply, to sound, to each other, and to the life within us. Ella and Dave, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, our pleasure.
Oh my gosh. Okay, where to start? I feel like first I want to honor the way you have responded to your diagnosis, because it's not easy as a teenager to be able to accept a lot of things, much less that eventually you'll be losing your hearing. As someone with a disability myself, there are times when I have allowed myself to go deep and be sad and have the pity party, but then I pull myself out of it. I'm not going to be naive to say you probably didn't have some arguments with reality and with God, but I'd love to hear and understand what was it that helped you move past that anger?
I definitely went through that process of grief, and a big part of it was accepting that it was okay to be angry, and it was okay to be sad, and it was okay to feel all of the feelings that I felt. Because while this unfair situation was happening to me, and I knew that this was out of my control, and no matter how much I bargained and how much I tried to fix the situation and come up with a beautiful experience list to have, I was still going through something extremely difficult. The thing that truly got me through it was spending time with the people I love. I really honed in on continuing to do things that I still enjoy. I loved partaking in all of the clubs at my school and spending time with my amazing family, who I love so much, my mom and my siblings, especially my sisters, and the lovely, lovely David and Jace, who have helped with the film. I got a lot of support, and I'm really lucky because not a lot of people necessarily do with the losses they have in their life, whether it's something like having a disability that came unexpected later in life or something like losing a loved one. I was really fortunate to experience a lot of support and love, and that was really the light at the end of my tunnel.
Mm. Whose idea was the documentary?
Well, it was kind of a perfect situation. I had come up with the bucket list myself as a way to cope with this loss, and again, sort of it was part of the bargaining process and the, okay, well, maybe it won't be as bad if I experience these things first. But it was also a part of, I still have the control in this world, and this is not the end. This is only the beginning and a part of my story. And I had shared this with David, as he is a close friend of my mom, and I grew up with him in my life. And he was like, "Hey, I think it would be really touching to people, and it would be really cool if I could help orchestrate a lot of these experiences for you with a big camera and microphone following you around to show the world what grace going through a difficult situation looks like." So I guess it was your idea for the documentary,
Mm.
and you did it all yourself, but
I'm quite mad, as we know.
yes.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah. No, I don't fear the word no, which is very useful. Like,
Mhm.
what's the worst that happens if I try to arrange a sound? It doesn't happen. Move on to the next
Yeah.
one. That's okay. Because I've really been part of this since the beginning, because we hadn't realized how little Ella had always been able to hear until she got her hearing aids back on March 28th of 2025. And then you sent me a text 2 days later, and it was the text that read, "Did you know wind makes sound?" And that's when we realized how incredible and special this was. And it's very important to me to have this documentary be something to we need to be able to share with others. Ella's story, her grace, her ability to keep moving even when it's hard, I think is something powerful to share with the world. And that wasn't my original intention with the movie. It was always in the back of my head. The original intention was, if I have a film crew and I call, say, the Chicago Transit Authority, they're more likely to say yes because I have a camera crew and I'm making a movie. It's just a little oomph to get them to listen long enough to hear Ella's story, because Ella's story is what opened these doors. The movie is what gave us the time to let people hear it.
Before we hit record, David, you said audio is very important to you.
Mhm.
What have you learned about sound since doing this, other than the science of sound, right? You probably have a lot of information on that, but what have you learned about sound in the process of this documentary?
I mean, sound is something that's always been a major part of my life. I've been a musician since I was 5 years old. I started composing music when I was 12. I think I did my first sound design when I was 19 years old. I can mix and all that. Often I've done quite a few films that way. But this is just teaching me to listen again, to actually stop and experience something. Because getting to experience it through someone else's ears is something incredibly magical. Actually, during this, I've started watching, they have the YouTube videos of people responding to songs they've never heard before. And I've been watching those to rehear songs I love in a new way. And I was really inspired by Ella. And like when we went to the waterfall in Superior, Wisconsin, I've heard waterfalls before, but it was completely different. Seeing your face when you first heard it, it made me hear it in a new way.
What was your expression?
What was my expression?
Mouth agape. Because the thing is, for most of these experiences, she wears noise canceling headphones until we're there. Because, you don't want to hear the ocean from 3 blocks away is the first hearing it. And we actually didn't have them that day, but she turned off her hearing aids, so couldn't really hear anything. And she was standing at a viewing spot above the waterfall, facing away from it. And she turned on her hearing aids and heard it before she saw it. And just this look of wonder with her mouth open. And she just stood there for like 12, 14 seconds before she turned around and looked at it and could see what was making the sound. And it was one of the more beautiful things I've been able to see on this. All these experiences are wonderful, but seeing the look in Ella's eyes and seeing the smile on her face is really what makes it all work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Going with that, I saw the little trailer you made, and what I noticed was that every time you experienced a new sound, Ella, there was this wonder and awe that a lot of children have, right? As children, we are like, oh my gosh, this is happening, or oh my gosh, this is amazing. And understanding that there's so much joy in this experience, but it comes from knowing you're going to have a loss. How do you reconcile both of those?
I think that to some degree, all joy comes from a place of sadness. I think that every person has been through beautiful things and heartbreaking things and everything in between. So I know that these experiences are sort of like a rainbow. I have this storm of hearing loss and health problems and struggling with this really difficult situation. And I have this sunshine of a beautiful documentary and this amazing experience that I get to go through. And to have these moments and these sounds that I'm hearing for the first time, there is truly a rainbow. There is sadness and there is joy in the same way that I don't know what I feel necessarily when I hear those sounds, but I know that I'm feeling something I have never felt before, and I have to figure out how to feel it and how to be okay with those moments where there's everything and nothing all at once. I guess it's the only way that I have found to be able to find a good, healthy mix between the happiness and the sadness is to understand that there's no lines to color between. There's no difference between the happy moments and the sad. They're all happening at once, and you just have to allow them to wash over you like the waves of the ocean.
Obviously, you can see that I'm emotionally moved, and in a way, I'm trying to figure out why, but I think it's just really beautiful, and I think something that we take for granted. I think a lot of times we put our emotions in different buckets, and we don't see them happening at the same time, and so I think that's a gift your experience is giving to the world. Maybe you're used to this.
That is my favorite part of the documentary overall, is the ability to see how this is affecting people. I've said it so many times now, but the beauty of the documentary is that the experiences, the awe, the beautiful, beautiful connections that I'm building with people are, for me, they're a gift to me from David and from Jace and from everyone who helps with the film. But the documentary is a gift from us to the world. I want to help people understand that grief and all of the emotions that we feel on a daily basis to handle everything, whether it's stubbing your toe on the corner of a table or having your first child or going through something that is so extraordinary or completely ordinary, no matter what happens throughout your day, throughout your life, it is going to impact you in some way. And it's okay to feel those feelings. It's okay to be hurting and still feel joy. It's okay to have times where you don't know what you're feeling and still allow yourself to feel all of those emotions. There's no how-to novel in how to cope with losing your hearing at 17, 18 years old. There's no how-to novel about anything in life. But I hope that at least this documentary gives someone out there the ability to understand what it's like to go through this state of grief while also understanding acceptance is not a state of grief that you reach. It's accepting all of the stages throughout.
I'm really glad you said about giving birth. I can liken it to that because when I gave birth to my son, it was like, I don't want this. This hurts. This is extremely painful. But on the other side of that was the reward is a new life. And so as you move through your journey, what do you envision your new life to be like?
A lot of times I think about, is this a new chapter in my life, or am I completely closing a book and opening a new one? And it's difficult to say. I think there's no necessarily predicting what tomorrow's going to look like. I mean, when I was like 8 years old, I wanted to be a unicorn when I grew up. And yesterday I wanted to be a doctor, and the next day I might want to be a lawyer. I have no clue where the world is going to take me, and I have no clue what it's going to be like now that everything is going to be experienced without sound. All I know is that my one goal in life is to unapologetically chase joy, whether that's through experiencing sounds while I still can, or going to things that are visually very beautiful, or experiencing things that are little moments along this documentary. I think it's been very representative of my one true goal in life, is to find joy and spread it. I don't know where I'll be in 30 minutes, even. I envision myself probably eating dinner, hopefully. But I do know that wherever I am, I see myself feeling lots of feelings, but facing them with a smile on my face.
Yeah, that's so good. What has been your most favorite sound?
Oh, that's so difficult. They're all so unique in their own ways. I think truly, as much as everyone would expect it, it has to be the ocean. It was so emotional and very symbolic, and there's so many moments that I could talk about with the experience itself, but I think based solely on the sound, the ocean has to be my favorite, because it's something interesting to think about, that the ocean itself is completely inanimate, and yet it has so much life, and you can really hear that. I think my favorite part of the sound, and I feel like I said this when we were recording, it's not the wave itself that I like. The wave is very overwhelming. It's very loud, and it consumes you and surrounds you, and it feels like it's swallowing you whole. It's very hard to digest as a sound, but when the wave pulls back, there's like this sizzling resonance as the bubbles of the wave kind of pop and settle. And there's this moment of calm but energetic. It's such an interesting sound, because something I learned is that there's a sound to each silence that is so unique. And I think that's what I've been struggling with the most, is not the fact that I've missed out on so many sounds. It's the fact that I've missed out on the level of different silences there are. I think in every experience, that's something I've found I love, is like the moments in between birds chirping, and the moments where people simply sigh after a baby's laughing. I like those moments of silence and those moments of reflection more than I like the peak of the sound necessarily. So I think the ocean was my favorite, because there was this moment of pure resonance and allowing the sound of the wave itself to settle well, knowing that another wave is going to come yet again.
That's beautiful. What has been your most unique experience throughout this process, David?
And there's so many. I think one of the things that has amazed me, because this has taken over my whole life. On a relaxed week, I'm spending 60 hours in this movie. Usually more. There was a week I did 110 hours, which I shouldn't do. I realized that. But we didn't have all the sounds arranged yet, and I couldn't help myself. I think some of my favorite moments, and they're so small, is when you suddenly hear something you didn't know had a specific sound. Whether
Yeah.
it, like when we were at the zoo, because you wanted to hear the sound of birds, but you didn't realize different birds sounded different ways. Or one of my favorites, we were in Florida to hear the waves of the ocean at Cocoa Beach. And we had a very nice Airbnb for Ella and her mother and Jason and myself on the crew. And, we had some time to relax. There was a pool and a hot tub. So we're getting ready to go out there, and I have on flip-flops. And Ella just looks at me and says, "That makes a sound? Is that why it's called flip-flops?" That was the day you texted me because you stepped on a leaf for the first time and heard it crunch under your foot. It's because they weren't on your list because you didn't know. And I think that's incredible how much there is to discover. And it's making me really excited to see what you discover, not even in the world of sound, but just you're at the age where there's so much coming. And it's so exciting to see what's next for you, because all the people you're going to meet, all the experiences you're going to have, you are going to touch and affect so many people. And the world is going to remember you for a long, long time.
Oh, don't make me cry.
Too late.
It's okay. I'll join you.
So many emotions with this. The first day we interviewed Ella on camera was back on September 20th. And you actually saw some of my favorite quotes in that little sizzle reel we sent you. And something she said meant so, so much to me. She said, "There's going to be a hole in your heart, but it doesn't mean that you're not able to fill it with something beautiful." And every day I get up and I go and take a shower. And when I get out of the shower, I remember why I'm doing the movie, because those words are tattooed over my heart now. Because I want to remember every day for the rest of my life why I've done this.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Do you get all your podcast hosts to cry like this?
No, but we make each other cry quite a bit. You would think that a lot of the tears that come from this are because of the grief and the sadness of this story, but truly majority of the crying that comes from this is just from each other. We're human beings, and it's true, genuine human connection, and
It's joy.
it's joy. We touch each other's hearts with a lot of words that we don't necessarily expect. A lot of people have asked me, like, how do you just talk like that? And it's like, I don't try to. I'm not thinking in my head like I need to make these people cry. I'm just saying what I think. Yeah, there's just something so touching to people about raw, genuine human connection, especially when it has to do with something that's not easy to talk about.
And I think one thing that makes that all easier, because Ella's mom, Heather, is an incredibly good friend of mine, which is why I've quite literally known Ella since she was born. So we've known each other for 18 years. And if anyone else was making this movie, there wouldn't be the same comfort level.
No.
Because Ella feels comfortable saying what she believes. I feel comfortable asking her things I might not feel comfortable. And I can't even think of half of them right now. But asking what it's like, because we interviewed her after the ocean that evening, and she was just chatting with us in front of the pool, and her mom was inside. And then we brought her mom out and asked, "So what does it mean to you that with this final sound, your mom got to be there with you?" And it's because I care so much about your whole family that I felt comfortable talking about that and asking that, and knew that you would be honest and share with the world. And that's really beautiful.
Yeah, it's been a whole family affair. My family definitely, there are moments where it is very hard, especially for like my siblings to cope. One of my sisters, she has a lot of moments where she cries and she prays that God won't take her sister away, and begs me not to pass away because she still needs me, which makes me cry uncontrollably. And my other sister, she can't even say the word death because she just can't process it. And my little brother has endless questions about other things. And my stepbrother and I, we don't talk about it. It's been a whole family affair, but there's been moments where David has definitely gotten us through it. I mean, because we spent so much time my mom and I focused on the documentary. David brought my sisters cake.
For their half birthday. Yeah,
Because you might as well.
a really nice decorated, beautiful layer cake with their names on it and really beautiful calligraphy and a note from the baker, do not smash your face into this. There's vowels inside it. You will hurt yourself. So, there's caring all over the place.
Yeah.
It's just so important that they remember how much they mean to everyone as well. Because it has to be hard because there's a lot of folks on you for good reason. Because you're going through something that most of us will never understand. But then, like your sisters are these two incredibly young women, freshmen in high school. What an incredibly powerful time of life to go through and change. And they need to be reminded how much they matter and that they're not invisible either.
Right.
And it can't be easy. I mean, I've faced some challenges at school, whether it's through needing accommodations or teenagers being teenagers. And it can't be easier for my friends, for my sisters, because they experience we're at the same school. So they have to go through a lot of the like, are you the one with a deaf sister? Are you like they have to experience their friends being like, ugh, we don't want to deal with that. Like they have faced just as much adversity as I have. And I truly mean that the loved ones of those who are going through something like this, although it is different, they are going through something that is so unbelievably difficult to cope with, and I can only imagine what it's like for them. They've been so supportive, whether it's dealing with coming with me to audiology appointments to listen what it sounds like, or sorry, I get emotional when I talk about my siblings, or moments where they're like not understanding how it can take me 47 times of saying, Ella, 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 we need your attention. Ella, please come here. It's been a lot of adapting for them, and they've really taken it with just as much grace as people have told me that I have. And it's just, they're my best friends. My siblings are my best friends. And so is my mom. We're really lucky. We've now added Jason David to our family as well. So we've been lucky to have this like beautiful experience with a beautiful family.
And one of my favorite moments of this whole process involves your sister. Your sister Charlotte came with us to the zoo to hear birds and wild animals. Like, you know what? We can have fun with this. And we got her a GoPro camera, and she was a camera operator for the day. So she could just get what she wanted. And she took still photos that we've used for social media. And I know Jace was filming her sister. And what a beautiful moment that she got to understand a little bit more about the process and be a part of it. Was great.
Yeah.
She's also a wonderful photographer, so that helps.
She is. She's great. Ivy and Charlotte, my sisters, they're great kids. They, again, being freshmen in high school, they could 100% be judgy and mean, and they're good people. Charlotte wants to help with the documentary, and Ivy would literally fist fight anyone who talks bad about me, and I mean that so genuinely. I am scared for anyone who tries to even thinks about looking at me the wrong way. She really wholeheartedly would throw hands, but they're both so supportive in their own ways, and I love them.
And if that fight happened, Ivy would win.
She
I don't care if she's
money on Ivy.
I would not cross her.
They're both so supportive in their own ways. Yeah, Ivy, she would win. She's a tough kid, and I learned my adversity and my ability to adapt and face things with a brave face from her. And I learned my ability to handle said adversity with grace from Charlotte. I learned just as much from them as they learned from me. Although I feel like the only word they've really learned from me is what? What did you say? Hello? So,
That's so great. Well, I want to ask you, because your sister is praying that God takes this from you. Do you pray that?
I do sometimes. There's a lot of difficulty in I have a genetic disorder. I have 2 genetic disorders, 2 for 1 deal. Um,
Lucky you.
but one causes a lot of health issues. It affects all of my connective tissues in my body, and the other causes my hearing loss. But there are moments where I have some very serious health complications. There are weeks where I have 4 or 5 doctor's appointments a week. I've been hospitalized multiple times. It's very scary. I unfortunately am a very sick person, and there have been times where I was scared that I was going to pass away, and I was scared that I was not going to survive this because, well, my genetic disorder is not fatal. It can have fatal complications, and it can have very concerning comorbidities, and it's a difficult fate to hold on your shoulders, but I've kind of accepted the fact that there's this understanding of like, I could go outside and get hit by a bus tomorrow. I could contract a deadly illness tomorrow. I could do all of these different things. I could get in a plane crash. I could do all of these different things, and I could pass away any moment at any day. I definitely have different circumstances than other people do, and it is more likely, but there's no reason to put an expiration to my joy sooner than life puts that expiration date on me. So,
Amazing. Okay, last question before I let you guys go.
okay.
This has been a doozy for me, this interview. It's amazing. My question is for each one of you, and your answers may be different. What would make this documentary and this whole experience worthwhile?
Would you like to go first?
Sure. It already is. What I said from the very beginning, and I maybe didn't say this when we've been trying to raise money, which we still need to do a lot more of, but so far a lot of this has been paid from my wife and I selling her late parents' house. That's how we paid for most of this film so far. But what I also said is this film could completely fall apart. No one could get to hear the story. But if Ella has the experiences, that's all that matters. I'm evolving past that because people talk, like we've had some donations, which has been wonderful. And it's because people wanted to make sure she hears the sounds. But them getting to fully know the story, I think is going to change so much. So it's already worth it. And every additional person, one person watching the movie is worth it every time. So it's worth it. And then it's worth it again. And then it's worth it again.
A very similar answer to some degree and different in others. For me, what would make the documentary worth it? I mean, the experiences themselves are already worth it. I've already experienced every sound. I've already completed my bucket list, which is something I honestly didn't think that I was going to be able to do in time with how quickly I'm losing my hearing. I want to have the documentary give at least one person comfort and guidance in an experience of loss, whether that is losing a loved one, losing a pet, losing a job, losing an experience, losing an opportunity, losing a competition, losing a sense, losing a limb, losing a ability, whatever it is, I want one person, one little girl out there to know that loss is not the end. It's just switching to a different language. You're just rewriting your future, and it hurts. Loss hurts. But at the end of the day, it gives you a different perspective that allows you to take control of your own life and write your story the way you want to and tell people what you want to. You can go out and make your own documentary. You can go out and create a bucket list of sounds you want to hear or sights you want to see or things you want to do. You're allowed to chase your own joy. And for me, the documentary is worthwhile if one person out there feels something, whether it's comfort or guidance or empowerment, to know that they can write their own story and they can rewrite the narrative of their loss and their pain and their hardship.
I think you will accomplish that more than just with one person. And I know that this has been a passion project for both of you. And David, a lot of that has to do with the sacrifice you and your wife have made financially to make this happen, to bring this bigger message to the world. If someone wanted to donate to the finishing of this documentary, where could they do that?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. We have a website, soundofabucketlist.com. There is a link to a GoFundMe, which is wonderful. We are also starting to talk to people about coming on board as producers. So that's a slightly higher level. It also means if we do get things like streaming distribution, they get a percentage of that, which is wonderful. So that's where we're at now. Normally you finance something like this before you make it. We didn't have the time. We had to jump in. There was no other option. They always say fast, cheap, good, pick two. Fast was mandatory, and I won't give up good. So we made it happen. You just find a way. That's all you have to do. So soundofabucketlist.com. There's also my email address. If someone is interested in talking to me about how they can help finish it more fully, they can reach out anytime. The email address is right there, and I'd love to talk to anyone.
Awesome. Thank you. Any last thoughts before I let you go?
Thank you so much for having us on your podcast. I really appreciate anyone who's willing to help share the story and anyone who's willing to allow us to go on this journey. I mean, it really wouldn't be the same without meeting people, and we really, really, truly appreciate you allowing us to share our story and our experience. It really means a lot to us.
Yeah, and I can't say it better than Ella. Because even though you talked about larger scale, it still becomes about one person. So today it's talking to you, and then the first person to listen to this, and the second. It's one person at a time. And that's part of why I can't wait to get this in the film festival circuit, to fly Ella to different film festivals and meet people after they've heard her story. And hire ASL interpreters, since we'll be speaking in a different language by then.
Yes.
That is the best part about all of this, is getting to meet people. And I'm so excited.
It's a very beautiful experience, even though my ASL is bad.
Are you all learning? Is your whole family learning ASL and all of that?
And the editor for the movie is learning it. Our marketing person for the movie is learning it. We really have a lot of people that are jumping in.
Yeah.
And many of them are better at learning it than I am, thankfully.
Well, it is an official language. So, hopefully that means more and more people will take it on. It was something that we taught our son from 6 months on. And by the time he was 18 months old, he knew 180 signs. Then he started talking and didn't need it so much. But I think it's a good thing. Obviously, I can't communicate in ASL. When we meet in person at one of your film festivals, Ella, I'll use my text to speech on my phone and communicate that way. But I just want to thank the two of you for being phenomenal human beings, for bringing this story to light, to be able to recognize that this is more than just about you and your hearing loss. It's about grief, and how do you find joy in the grief to create that rainbow. I've cried enough tears, I feel like, if I put it out in the sun where I am here in Hawaii, there would be a rainbow that would be created. So I honor you both for doing what you do and bringing this to a larger audience so we can learn
these lessons that I think a lot of us take for granted. What you, the listener, have just heard isn't simply a story about hearing. It's a story about paying attention, about intentionally experiencing life before letting it slip through your fingers. Ella's sound list isn't about fear, it's about presence, wonder, and gratitude. And that's a message each one of us can take into our own lives. If you've ever felt like you're waiting for life to happen or like something is slipping away, remember this: you still have right now. Listen to the laughter, to the wind, to the quiet between the moments. Living victoriously by cherishing what you can, not in spite of what you might lose, but because of what you still have to gain. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Small Victories Podcast. And until we meet again, be blessed.
Angel of light, come into me. Show me what I need to see. You are my path, way into the night. Lead me from shadows to light. You smile on my small victory, on my small victory. All of my life, I always knew you were the one I relied on. When every dream failed, and the worries prevailed, in your hands my spirits rose up. You smiled on my small victories, on my small victories. Take this here heart, teach it to sing. Lessons unfolding, turning like leaves. Such gifts I will share. My breath is yours. You smiled on my small victories, on my small victories. All you have shown, I was never alone. Now a peace in my heart I should have known. From the start you were always right next to me. This I will hold, these small victories. This I will hold, these small victories. This I will hold, these small victories. Angel of light, come into me. Show